Alright, what's going on, everybody? Over on the iPhone today instead of the GoPro. The GoPro has been handy, but it's its own thing. Anyways, the transplanted onions, again, I've said for weeks, they all need a haircut. Just haven't got to getting around to it. But they're all growing wonderfully. Most of these had only 2 or 3, and look at that one, like 4 or 5 in there, so they do multiply as advertised, quote unquote. The buckets, I've been doing a terrible job of keeping up with the buckets. You can see a little bit of algae and the water level is way below, but somehow the plants, some of them are surviving and some are not, so I need to do a better job of babysitting them. Cucumbers are just going like bonkers. I was out this morning, kind of tried to get them into the trellis a little bit. They're just kind of all over, so we'll see what happens. There's a blossom in there, and there'll be more to come, so hopefully they'll continue to go. And a couple of the seeds that I reseeded sprouted, not all of them. So beans, they're also doing really well. Not quite as good as the cucumbers, but the weather's been a little cooler this last week, so the plants have been extremely happy. You can see some of them starting to climb a little bit, and these, I don't remember if these are actual bush or if these are actual pole beans. I don't remember, because each of the varieties, they have both, and I don't remember which seed pack I grabbed. So but we got some climbers. A couple old garlics that I let go over winter look like a real head of garlic. I just pulled those out this morning, so I need to cut these, let them cure, and it's not great, but there's 4 heads of garlic, and these onions aren't doing too bad, and only one more plant sprouted, so the seeds have got to be absolutely old and terrible. The Blue Lake green beans are really hitting their stride. I tossed a little fertilizer in all the plants and watered them down this morning, so they are a little bit crowded. I did it to myself, but we'll see what happens. And then got tomatoes going. There's a nice cluster of Juliet grapes hanging out down there. There's another cluster in there, and they're just kind of popping up everywhere, so that's really nice. I don't remember what type this is. I think this was a cherry. They look pretty small hanging out in there. That one is the early girl, so that'll be medium, and I think that's a cherry up front as well. Strawberries, kind of hit and miss. They're not wonderful, they're not terrible. Some of them taste really good though. Can't really complain too much. And then last week you saw I harvested one of the buckets of the red potatoes. These plants are still growing, so I'm just kind of letting it. They're starting to fall over, die out a little bit. I figured I'd give it another week. The white potatoes just starting to yellow and brown there a little bit. I think this blue is next. Again, this part still growing. Figure give it a week, evaluate it. And this one still doing okay, and the 2 Yukons still doing okay, so we'll see what happens. That is a sun gold, starting to catch up now after being wimpy and the heat and catching just the heat. This one didn't die. I think this is the Bella Rosa. Let's see, yep, that's the Bella Rosa. This one, let's see, This is the black creme, so we'll see if that actually grows. And this one is called Red Snapper. This is, these are the Haas Tool ones. That one's Haas Tools, and that one is what Haas Tools grow. So, other than that, nothing else super exciting. Blueberries are still doing pretty good. Apple trees, not so much. I know there's little limes hanging out in here. They're kind of hard to see sometimes, but this one is quite a bit going on. They're kind of all over, so starting to get some size on them. Then I'm not sure with the lemon. This is really kind of the second year. I think these are all going to die. Yeah, these are going to fall right over. These are dead. All these that turned yellow, they're dead. They should be just growing green and changing color after. So there were some hanging out here somewhere. I don't see them right now. Of course, you know, when I grab the camera, can't find the bigger ones. But then, yeah, so these are all dead. Just barely touch them and they're falling over. And this one's got a bunch. I'm doing terrible with the camera angles. I'm not used to doing this when I've been doing the silly GoPro. Nothing else crazy. The sweet potatoes, they're plugging along, getting a little size to them. This one's a little runty in the back, but it hasn't died off, so that's good. And the raspberries, not a ton of berries on there, kind of hit and miss. Bugs got a couple. I'm guessing the birds got a couple. But all the blackberries are starting to color up. So as long as the birds don't get them, we'll have some blackberries to munch on. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, not a lot going on this week. A lot of work and not a lot else. So we'll see what happens with the other transplants coming down the road. I've got some experiments in the garage. Not doing real well, so we'll see what happens. Other than that, thanks for watching. Catch you next week.